is Kenya, and especially Nairobi, the business hub of Africa. In today's video, we're going to talk about some insight about what's happening in Nairobi in terms of business and what kind of opportunities you have here, about the funding, the investments from the outside, about like some different kinds of topics that will give you some more insights. And then later on, I will give you some ways how I manage to build my network here and what kind of action steps I would take if I would be again in the position of like making my research and like making some connections here. Let's get right into it, and I hope this video will help you. So first, let's talk about the rise of Nairobi. So first, I would say the economic growth of Kenya in general was in 2022 was 4.8%, so very close to the 5%, and it's projected to be 5.5% in 2023, so in this year. So I think this is already like a pretty good statement, and you can tell that the country is growing, that they are building something, that some things are moving here for sure. And so another interesting fact in terms of economy and also like in terms of like investments from venture capital companies is that actually Kenya is number 2 in whole Africa for receiving investments. The first one is Nigeria, but it also has a much bigger population. But it's Nigeria's choice with 1.2 million US dollars, and on the second, very close to Nigeria, even if Kenya is much smaller with like 55 million people, is of course it's Kenya with like 1.1 billion US dollar investment. So it's not too bad for a country that's actually like just a quarter of the size of Nigeria. So I think it's very impressive, and right after them there's Egypt, and then there's South Africa. So these are like the top 4 like giants in terms of like venture capitalist funding in Africa. For point number 3, what I think is impressive in terms of some information, some insights about Nairobi and Kenya, is that actually over 80% of the Kenyan energy is already green. And I think it's close to 86% that is already green. And I feel like always in the Western countries, they talking about like developing through these goals and developing towards like getting more green energy. But in the end of the day, they're moving very slow until you actually have already 86% or like almost 86% of Kenya's energy is totally green. What's very unexpected, I would say. I don't think that anyone outside here like of Kenya or like Africa knows this about Kenya, it was very impressive. And they're also working towards getting even more green energy. They like getting some more like solar energy like resources, and like the hydrogen resources and windmills. So like they're really trying to improve. Another interesting thing, what could be interesting for you, especially if you look into some investments, is that Kenya or Nairobi is actually called the Silicon Savannah. So it's basically will be referred as the Silicon Valley of Africa. Like it's a business hub, like it's a tech hub, it's a innovation hub. It's really a hub for like many things in terms of business and technology and development. So you can see this really in the spirit of the people. We have many tech entrepreneurs, the people that really know what they do. They bring some new innovations. Also with the M-Pesa that I was talking in my last video about, with the mobile money, they take just only Kenya has 45% of the global mobile money market actually. So it's impressive for one country, an African country, to keep like 45% of the mobile money market. So they're really ahead of the time, and they're really developing more and more. So they're really on a good way to become even stronger and like deliver maybe their solutions to European, American countries. But just a short like side fact is actually that ChatGPT was also partly or fully, I'm not really sure, but it was definitely like a Kenyan team what was behind developing ChatGPT. So you can really see what kind of knowledge and power they have, and they can build such a tool like this, what is now used by anyone for basically everything they do in NASA. Kenya really has some bright minds, and I'm really happy to see them thrive and to see them like work on their skills and like just bringing solutions and like just growing the knowledge and growing the power. So the last thing I want to say, like in terms of like just some facts about Kenya, that you have a broad understanding of what's going on over here, like how how the business options could look like is that they actually have East Africa's largest port. No, they're not just great in tech; they also have East Africa's largest port. What is also very impressive, and they still continuously building this port to get more capacity for it, and they even just built a new port or building a new port. I'm not 100% sure, but they're on the way to build a new port in Lamu and to expand the port in Mombasa. What's the biggest port? And so I really think it's a good standpoint because they're also very close to the Asian countries. They have a very central location to deliver goods through all over East Africa, or even the landlocked countries in Africa like Uganda and there's the neighboring countries, Ethiopia as well, for example. So there's a good option to also deal with some imports and exports besides the challenges you have transporting goods here sometimes, but just that you have the option to trade in or handle key goods in East Africa's biggest port. It's already, I think, very impressive. So then let's talk about the networking options. So when I came here first, I was alone in the beginning. My business partners didn't come with me. They came afterwards. So I was alone, and I'm a very open-minded person. So I was ready to make some new connections. I was ready to put myself out there and meet some people. And then the question was, how am I going to do this? How I'm going to meet people, business-minded people, or potential collaborators for our work, our business, and things like this. So when I was thinking about this, I realized that there are so many events going on now, all day, every day. Basically, there's something you can go to, business events, networking events, every kind of exhibition. Actually, right now, when I'm making this video, there's a China trade exhibition going on here in one of the exposition locations. So there are many great opportunities to network, to meet people, and to put yourself out there and make the right connections here. You have a really international city here with Nairobi. You can reach anyone basically. If I don't know, I met people from the west side of Africa. I met some Asian people. I met people from Europe. So you really have everyone here concentrated in the city, and there are many internationals also living here and do business with outside of the country or also within the country. So there are many options to go out. I don't know, once a week is what I do, at least once a week, to an event, to meet some new people, to get some inspiration, to get some new ideas. It just helps for yourself, and just helps yourself to get a broader understanding of what's actually happening here in Nairobi, Kenya, because there are so many business opportunities for anyone, for UKians, from the outside, even when they're a little bit strict, not strict, but they have their regulations. If you want to come from the outside to invest here in Kenya, you really need to prove them why you should come and do this kind of business and what you will provide for the locals, if you're going to provide some jobs. So they really need some proof of concept from you, or that you not just come over here and live your best life here and do whatever, So they really try to make sure that just good investors come over here and that really bring the country, push them forward, to their economic goals and goals in general. And this is what I really think is great about this place, not because they're very kind, very friendly, very open, but in general, it's they really take care of their own people, but still let investors in a supportive way. Secondly, I guess to network building here is that people are very business minded. They are very open to chat with you. They're very ready to do some business with you. And the thing is, everybody here has a hustle. Everybody, even if you have employees for banks, you have employees of I don't know, government or whatever, everyone almost has a side hustle. So at least most people I met, they have a side hustle, what they're trying to build up and to make some money from it, So really, the people are really business minded, what I really like, and it gives you so much insights that they really hustling like this. It motivates you as well, but it also supports you in the way of that you can build your network very well, because almost everyone here is hustling, or is having some business, or is doing some national or international business already. So you can really see who's doing what, what's happening here actually, like what kind of sectors are thriving. Is this interesting for you kind of investment, or is interesting for you kind of business? So you really have a good overview here about everything. You can learn a lot from the locals, especially if you're new to this market. Like, for example, the same thing was with me. I really had I'm still having many conversations with people who are doing business here. And it gives you insights how to handle your things locally and what is interesting for the local market, because sometimes we think what we know is the best, but it's not always the best. We have to find the best way for just getting the most out of our own knowledge, but also implement it well in the local market. So now we talked about some insight about Kenya and the economic growth, the economic potential, the business potential, how to network with people, how to make some connections, and get a clear understanding of how the local market works. And the last thing I want to talk about is basically just how you can put this into action. I would have loved that someone would have told me some of these things already when I was in the process of moving here and trying to figure all these things out myself and going there and going this and reading there, and you know what I mean. And how can you put this in action? So first thing I would say, really try to manage to go to events, because there are many events happening here, many business events with international people, with local people, and it's always a mix of giving some knowledge, but also taking away so much from all these conversations you're going to have these people. What I think is very, very valuable if you want to start a business here, even if you're local, from Kenya, it's insightful. It's also insightful if you want to make some investments here from outside of the country. So it really has many benefits and advantages for you to go to these events, network, get to know the people, get to know the market, and see where your options as an investor or as a business person is to make the right decisions to start your own business here or to expand your business here. The second, I'd say, is there are many Facebook and LinkedIn groups, business groups where business-minded people hang around. And just to give you an example, how I did it, the first time I was in Kenya 2022, this was part of my research to see if this is the right place to go to if I should move here and make my investments here. And when I did this, when I was in the research, basically I came to Nairobi for 2 weeks to meet some people here. I joined many LinkedIn groups and joined many Facebook groups. And in these groups, I found many business-minded people who I could connect with. And all of them were very, very happy to give me the insights I needed, So I said they're very business-minded and very helpful, because it's a give and take, you give something and they can give you some more insights about the local market. Last thing is, you should be very, very open-minded here. As I said, people are very open to talk to you, to give you information, and you should be ready to really mingle people. You should be ready to engage in conversations with strangers, with people you never met, to go on these expositions, to go, I don't know, I even network in cafes. So I work there in some cafes and I see someone who looks interesting, I just go over, say something, and we start chatting about this and this and that. And sometimes you get information from it, sometimes you make a good connection, sometimes you don't get anything from it, but also it can be your next client, for example. Depends on what kind of business you're doing. So you really need to be open-minded, embrace the mindset, be open, be ready, mingle. And then I think if you're flexible with the things you do, and if you're open-minded like this, there's nothing in the way for you that can stop you to build something here in Kenya or Nairobi. So now it's time for a conclusion. We learned today that Kenya has many different opportunities, that they have a very business-oriented mindset, that there are many chances for investors, but also for you Kenyans, for the locals, to build some businesses and to make the right connections here and there. And we talked about some steps how to do this. So I think Kenya is a country with a very, very high potential. And especially if you're based in Nairobi, or you're trying to do something in Nairobi, or you want to relocate to Nairobi, I think it's a great time to be here. It's a growing economy, it's a growing market. See, with people who are supportive, with people who are also hustling. And if you come with the right mindset, or start the business with the right mindset, I think nothing can go wrong. Of course you have to be cautious, be careful with some things, and don't just trust anyone, or I don't know, just make a research, basically. Make a research, but if you did your research and really try to focus on something and try to push this through and like try to really build up your business here, I think it's a very good location, especially as well, like if you think about the case of expanding to other East African or African countries in general. Kenya is a good location, you know, like Tanzania is right here, Uganda is right there. They also have a lot of potential. Ethiopia is also there. So you have some potential to also expand your business. Like if you can set this up in Kenya, it's a good proof of concept or proof that you can do it here, and then you can grow your business, you know. So yeah, if you have any comments, maybe I forgot many other good things about like the economy and like things how to start a business, just leave it in the comments for the other ones, that everybody can learn something from it, even myself. And then let me know what is interesting for you, and I can make a next video about it. Yeah, like, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching, and take care.